I'm getting so excited for this time of year because this is the time where we start planting our spring garden in earnest and prepping our summer garden. And this year I have 3 big allies that are going to help me out with this. I've got pigs, I've got chickens, and I've got Clover. So today I wanted to show kind of a unique setup that builds soil that is really just an idea of how to use things that you may not have thought before. This is our rooster. His name is Two-Toe, and if you look at his right foot, you can see why we call him Two-Toe. One of my favorite principles with regenerative agriculture is this idea of stop thinking of animals as annoying. No, stop thinking of animals as livestock and start thinking about them as employees. Animals all have jobs to do. Chickens and pigs especially have a very valuable job, and that is basically, the pigs kind of lightly till and aerate the soil. The chickens scratch and help the soil recover. So we use them. So the lesson today: use what you have. And I just realized it's dinner time for the pigs, so let's go feed the pigs. All right, so we've got kind of our fermentation station over here for the pig food and the chicken food. So while I'm over here talking about the pigs, let's connect this to what I came to talk about today, and that is using pigs for gardening. So this area that the pigs are on, the original purpose of this was kind of more like a quarantine zone for when sheep or other pastured animals needed kind of a place to start their journey here, to be separated from the flock. They'd have this space. I estimate it's about 50 feet by 50 feet, if I had to guess. And you can see some tall grass in there, but they have absolutely torn it up. And that is what I wanted to illustrate today, what we're using pigs for. So to get a good comparison, you see where they've been, and you see where they haven't been. Day and night. By the way, you might be asking yourself, well, how long have they been there? 72 hours, okay, so 3 full days. This is Monday afternoon. I moved him here Friday afternoon. Okay, back to the main point of what the heck we're talking about today. For our garden, we kind of have 2 spots here. To my left is some garden boxes. I'm going to be talking about that unique design right now and how we've used what we have to make a very cheap and very prolific garden box. We tested those 2 in the back. We tested out last year, and they've been great. And to my right, we've got this basically just cleared land area. This is where the pigs have been hanging out for about the last 2 weeks. And you can see where they've really done some damage. When I say damage, I guess I don't mean damage, I mean good stuff. They've tilled up a lot of the area here. So let me talk about this area first. This open layout where there are no boxes. I need to get rid of that stump, But once I have those stumps gone, it's going to be mostly flat, maybe slightly sloped area that we're going to be putting our high yield row crops. And we need to wait until the freeze date is well behind us before we're putting those in. But that's going to be things like corn, okra, tomatoes, things that like heat, that like space. I just happen to have some oat seed. We might do a few rows of oats just to grow some fodder. So we'll see. The idea is this is where tall things grow. Now, if you know much about gardening, or rather farming, those tall things, like corn, like tomatoes, like okra, tall plants love nitrogen. And where does nitrogen come from? It comes from right here. So that's chicken poop, and if I were to really look hard, I'm sure I'd find some pig poop here, but the pigs have been romping on this area for about 2 weeks. You can see this area that they've really torn to pieces, which is great. And now what I've done after I moved the pigs off of this area is I mowed it. Now, yes, this clover was mowed down just 3 days ago, and it's already come back super strong. The clover is an excellent cover crop here because clover is a nitrogen fixer. So it pulls nitrogen out of the air and deposits it into the earth. And what am I going to be planting here? A garden of nitrogen demanding crops like corn, like tomatoes, like okra. I've also had pigs pooping and tilling in the poop in here. And now I've got chickens scratching out the bugs that the pig feces have attracted and flattening out the earth. Yes, I know I have a big hole that I filled with wood. I do need to fill that with earth before I garden over it, but hey, that's Hugelkultur. Okay, so the 4-step process. Number 1, plant a cover crop. We really love clover. Number 2, put pigs on top of it. We went for 2 weeks. We probably could have gone for a lot longer. Lesson learned. Number 3, mow it. At least I really found that beneficial because pigs really throw up a lot of dirt clods and stuff. It's really bumpy. So mowing it allows for it to be flatter and for there to be less places for the bugs to hide, which brings me to step 4, which is put chickens on it. The bugs can't hide, the chickens get a free lunch. And they scratch it, flatten it out more, and they'll deposit a little more nitrogen through their poop. And then finally, the last step that we're going to do is mow it again as close as you can go and immediately after plant starts. We're getting very close to planting here. So for these beds, these are a really ingenious design that I can't take 1 ounce of credit for. Okay, so here's a good one that's just about done. You can kind of see all the stages here. So just to give a shout out where shout outs are due, my lovely, intelligent, and creative wife built this. She thought of it and she built it up. These 2 in the back, right here and right here, we did last fall, and they did great. They gave us a great fall harvest. So now we nailed it, and now we're going to scale it. So basically, it's not rocket science. It's it's a frame with 2x4s that you have some 2-inch chicken wire stapled into the inside. You line the inside with some hay, and then you top it off with soil and compost. And again, since the theme of this video is using stuff that you already had, so I've got this small pile of well-rotted or soon to be on the way of rotted logs. This is amazing fertilizer. Look down there. Can you see it? Past where the pigs are? I got this big awesome pile of logs that eventually I'm going to burn. But until that time, why not use them to fill these planter beds? So each one of these planter beds is filled about 3/4 of the way with just amazing rotting logs. And after the logs are there, you continue to fill up the sides with hay and then fill it up with soil. It's really not rocket science. Here's what remains of our compost pile that we paid for to basically fill these up. We're going to have a little bit left over. But yes, that's probably the one disclaimer, is the compost is something that we got from off-site. We did have quite a few boxes down there to fill up. Okay, so if you watched my last video, you know what a fan I am of Clover, and that is our best friend on this homestead because we use it as a cover crop to basically nourish the ground here. But aside from just being pretty and nice to walk on, what we do is we cut the clover, bag it up, and we use it as mulch, and it's done so well for us. And what this is helpful for is when you look past it, I mean, look at that. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want to see. And so Mother Earth is modest. She likes to be covered, even if she's in a raised planter bed. The nice thing about cutting the clover is it's really easy to tell when clover has gone to seed. I don't see any flowers here. Do you? And that's great because none of these are going to go to seed. It really does just act as a mulch. Clover is such a nutrient-rich cover crop that it can even act as a nutrient-rich mulch. So it's going to protect the top from leaves, it's going to help retain water, and as we put young seedlings in there, it's going to keep them nice and cozy. All right, and finally, here's the fun side, the back side of our garage. So if you're wondering how we're irrigating all of this, well, here you go. This not too intricate, but yet very effective water catch system right now. We need a couple more IBC totes. We had a lot of rain this weekend, so 2 of these totes are almost full already. I would imagine that's probably between those 2, close to 400 gallons we're sitting on right now. So yes, the nice thing about this is we have them elevated, which creates a little bit more pressure, and we're about 10 feet higher up over here at my house than we are at the garden, which creates even more pressure. Eventually we'll get some pipes down there, but for right now, these hoses and a drip irrigation system are something that's worth testing out. We've validated it a little bit. I don't like sharing stuff that I haven't proven that works, but in our few tests they definitely do. So stay tuned to our videos, and I'll have more coming out about this system. And finally, how cool is this thing? This is a greenhouse my wife slapped together for how many dollars? $0. These are just things that we had lying around, some grow lights that we had, obviously some scrap 2x4s that we had lying around, and then the greenhouse material that we just had from excess from another project. We've got some starts in there, and we've got a few starts in the house that need to migrate out here, but it is noticeably warmer in the greenhouse. And there you have it. Pigs, chickens, clover, even old disgusting piles of wood. Everything has a purpose here. Thank you. And what I love about all of that is that for the most part, none of that really cost me money. We were raising pigs anyway. We have clover growing anyway. We're getting eggs anyway. You saw the pile of wood. That obviously didn't cost us anything. And that's the point, is when you're gardening in a regenerative way, really when you're doing any regenerative practice, a lot of the answers are usually right in front of you in the way of something cheap or free and natural. I'm PJ with the High Mountain Homestead, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for stopping by today.